we came in here, to be a production brewery, and we've just evolved over the years, and now we're so much more. So from day one, we had a vision of being this, destination at the Jersey Shore.
It's a beer business, but it's more so of a relationship business.
Yeah.
Everybody makes good beer. It's how can you sell it.
I feel. Guys, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us. Wow, look at that. Jinx.
Wow. off to a good start. So, just, real quick, introduce yourselves. Who are you guys? What brewery are we in?
All right, so we're in Beach Haus Brewery here in Belmar, New Jersey. Just a few blocks from the lovely beach, Jersey Shore. My name is Dylan Cohen. I'm the Director of Operations. And Mike over here.
I'm Mike DeTomaso, Director of Sales.
Awesome. So, I guess, first official question here. Can you just take me through how'd you guys get started? How did Beach Haus Brewery come to fruition?
Yeah, so it started by a couple guys in the garage back in, I don't even know the year, honestly. It was, mid 2000s. They started brewing up there. It was John Merklin, Brian Siriaco. They brought another guy, Tom Przybowski, way back before breweries were really big in the state. So they got going. They were introduced to my partner now, Chris McCallion, and he helped them, get started doing some contract brewing. So we were contract brewing up in the Genesee Brewery, North American Breweries up in Rochester, New York. Yeah.
Yep.
We were doing 500 barrel batches, real big runs of 4 different styles eventually is what we did up there, and we just did distribution. So it's all bottles and kegs going from that stage. So we eventually worked up to building this place, building Beach Haus Brewery itself. New Jersey laws give, some challenges. So 2013, the laws changed to allow some tap rooms and tastings, and that's when the building was purchased. It took about a year for the build out or so, and we ended up opening here for the very first time in 2015.
Nice.
So everything's been brewed here in Belmar ever since. We have an oversized 30-barrel system, so fairly large for the craft brewery scene. We came in here, to be a production brewery, and we've just evolved over the years, and now we're so much more.
Nice. Yeah, one of the things that sticks out to me about this place, and what you can see on the camera right now is only a very small piece of this, but I go to a lot of breweries, and the tap rooms are not nearly as nice as this. Like this, you guys have a rooftop. You guys have this beer hall in here. There's another bar right there. There's a whole downstairs area. So that makes me think that you guys came into this with a very clear vision for what you wanted this to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Even the rooftop, that was an original drawing from, the schematics when the architects were building this place out. There was always a plan for that rooftop up there. So from day one, we had a vision of being this, destination at the Jersey Shore. Like I said, we've evolved. Now we're so much more than a brewery. So in 2020, we purchased a liquor license, which you need in this state to be able to serve food, be able to serve liquor as well. So now we're more than just a production brewery. We have a full kitchen. We have a full bar, and you could come in, with your whole family. You're coming down, visit the beach, come on your way back, get some nice food, get a cocktail, get some of our beer, hang out on the roof, see the sunset. And, go home, buy some beer at your local liquor store. Now we got Mike out, selling to the stores, selling to bars. Yeah. You could find us around as well.
Nice. Well, yeah. So, Mike, you just came into the picture, and you mentioned the New Jersey laws were kind of difficult to navigate.
Yeah. And just to explain on that a little bit, as far as the sales, once we got the liquor license, we became a restricted brewery rather than a limited brewery. So what that means is we could no longer use self-distribution as an avenue to sell our beer. We had to use distributors, which for a small craft brewery just doesn't really make sense. 2023, I guess it was, or no, 24, February, just last year, the regulations were changed, first time since Prohibition in New Jersey.
Wow.
And that allowed us to now do self-distribution as a restricted brewery. So that's why we can hire Mike and start doing distribution ourselves. So it really, opened up that business again for us.
Nice. Yeah, I speak with a lot of brewery owners, and nowadays it feels like distribution is very challenging if you're not self-distributing because it's so competitive off the shelf. There's so many breweries out there. Margins are so tight. Then you got to give the distributor a cut.
Yep.
And it's like you just get crushed before you even get on the shelf.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, Mike, let's transition over to you. You started in this role back in January. You're responsible for putting the brand out there, getting the brand on shelves across New Jersey, and I think you're expanding into other states now as well, right?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Or that's in the roadmap.
hopefully that's the plan. Once we, have a good establishment in New Jersey first. But yeah, it was back in October when I was introduced to Chris Callion, and I've always drove past this place. I was here once in 2019, and to see kind of how it's evolved since then, it's mind blowing. So I first walked into the brewery, and anytime somebody walks into this place, it's like a wow moment, and that's kind of what I had. I was here with my wife Tara, and this past October was beautiful. It was like 70 degrees every day, which if it's a nice day, that rooftop is like, it's breathtaking. So I started to talk to Chris a little bit about rolling out a distribution plan, and turns out that wind up bringing me on the team, and these guys have treated me like family. So I feel like I've been here for years, but it's only been about 6 or 7 months. But we're getting some ground in the marketplace, which is great to see, off and on premise. But yeah, focus on right now mostly independents, and then if we get big enough, start rolling out a chain program, which would be great. And then maybe extend out to Pennsylvania, but focus on North Jersey because we're starting to gain some ground in South Jersey. But it's going to be a challenge with no prior sales history really that I was able to see from last year. A little bit here and there, but it's been great so far.
So take me through, because this is a topic that we actually have, I don't think we've ever touched on this on this podcast. What has been your plan of attack to increase distribution over the last 6 months? Like, are you just going and knocking on doors, making phone calls, shaking hands, kissing babies?
Pretty much, man.
Showing up.
Showing up. I think I put probably 20,000 miles on my car in the last 4 or 5 months. But it's I have some experience in the alcoholic beverage industry. Never sold. I told Chris this once they brought me on. I never sold a pint of beer in my life, but I'll figure it out. I was always a liquor guy. But yeah, you still we're not in really. It's a beer business, but it's more so of a relationship business. So you're able to kind of tack onto those relationships, and that's really what it's about. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the plan, rolling out and just getting the word out there, and then you meet some good people, and we got some great loyal customers of ours, and they've been great so far. And
Nice.
hopefully we can keep growing those.
Nice. Sound like a good sales guy. Just hit the pavement, start hustling, start
That's it,
shaking
man.
hands.
That's it.
So, you guys obviously are, the brand is very Jersey Shore coded.
Sure,
it gives that vibe. So what's the plan to expand to other states outside of New Jersey once you reach that point?
Yeah, we were actually in 5 states at one point back when we were doing the contract brewing. Once we became Beach Haus itself, you had to kind of restart all those relationships. So people have seen us. We've been around. The brand is at this point one of the older brands for the craft beer scene around here. So hopefully we conquer New Jersey over the next couple of years, and then start branching out. I think our next target would obviously be Pennsylvania, New York. Those markets especially, they have a lot of seasonal tourists coming here. People hopping on 195 from Pennsylvania, they come straight over. You're running right into Belmar. it spits you out right into Belmar. New York, same thing. We could actually look at kind of heat maps of where customers come from. A lot of people just coming from over, by the city and just over the New York border. So that way, we could target those areas and people will see us, on the shelves. But, Beach Haus, I was just there over the summer. That's awesome. I want a little bit of Beach Haus, in the winter in these cold months. It kind of brings me back, to the season that I love there. So that's always been a way we could sell it. Just get out there. We're here to, sell an experience to people. And when you go home, you could still enjoy that and you still have that experience in your mind. So it's just kind of, draws it home for you.
Nice. And you mentioned, people get an experience and then it sounds like the customer experience for a lot of customers starts in the tap room and then carries over into distribution once they have that relationship with the brand. Is that the typical customer journey that you guys find, or is it kind of a mix of people try you for the first time on the shelf and then?
I think it's both.
Yeah, it's a little bit of mix.
Yeah, see us in the store and then they end up coming here or vice versa.
Well, I never, what is it, tapped out?
Untapped.
I'm a UFC fan, so I always say tapped out. But Untapped it's a cool platform because I never really, I was never really like into the whole craft beer world, and now I'm starting to get into it. I'm like, wow, it's almost like a cult following with, breweries and beers, and like Untapped, they're able to kind of write reviews. And it's really cool when you see, they got it at, House of Wine in Westfield, or, they got it at, Tucker's Tavern in, LBI. I'm like, it's cool to see, the work that you put in and people actually able to enjoy it, and you see it, kind of through an app, which is really cool.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, being in the space, I've obviously looked at Untapped quite a bit, but I never really thought of it from that perspective where you guys are kind of able to see which areas of distribution are performing
check it in,
based on where the reviews are coming from.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. And I mean, you guys, I tried your beer for the first time last week. I popped into the tap room, and I think I hope I get the name right. It was Swell.
Yeah, Swell. That's our flagship, IPA.
That was awesome. That was really, really good. So, yeah, I mean, I'm imagining that people try it here or they get it off the shelf, and it's like it's not that hard to get a returning customer with the quality of the beer.
That's our number one, to the market is Swell, and then we have some one-offs we'll do based on seasons. Hazy IPAs are kind of still the big hit right now, so we have a few of those as well in addition to the Swell that we push out.
And as far as the types of beers that you guys try to create, is there a certain style that you go for? Or
no, we want to have a style for everybody. In our main tap room here, we got 20 different taps. You don't want to really pigeonhole yourself into just hazy IPAs or just lagers or something like that. So, any customer coming in, if they like a, Blue Moon, let's say, we have a wit beer that they could get called Swash, or if they like, just a light lager, we have Lighthouse. It's our 4.3% light lager, and that's number one here in the house. Everybody coming here for the summer, they're just crushing Lighthouse. We do a lot of events here as well. We do full weddings on this floor. We do.
Nice. I could see that.
Every weekend, we'll have events generally where they could rent out, certain spaces, but we could still be open to the public. And those beers, they're just important to have. That you're not only making like the big craft stuff. You have something for everybody.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the things that you guys do really well that I don't see from a lot of other breweries is the way that you've built the tap room is accessible and relatable to people other than just craft beer drinkers. Like you guys, you have the liquor license. I think you do cocktails here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have light beers. It's not all just heavy 7% IPAs.
Yep.
It seems like it's a very kind of family friendly place, but then also like if people want to, if like a younger crowd wants to come up and have a night out, it's not just heavy craft beer. It's like it's a very easy place to bring your friends, and everybody's going to be happy here.
Right. Yeah, that's what we strive for. Especially with the younger crowd, like you're saying. That's we got the roof is kind of a whole different clientele that comes in the summer. Before they're going out for the night, they go up to the roof. We do some DJs up there Friday and Saturday, so kind of bring fun Jersey Shore night environment to it.
Yep.
And then tap room's always going, always family friendly down here. Especially Sunday afternoons, we get a lot of the younger families that come in. It's like a nice hangout for them.
Yep.
And they really enjoy the space.
Nice. And how how much does seasonality impact you guys? Because obviously you're at the Jersey Shore. Like I grew up around here.
Yeah.
It's packed in the summer and it's dead in the winter.
Yep.
Is
Yeah,
that-
I mean, it's always, something that we have to manage. In the summer, we do a lot more, a la carte business, let's say. But we do have a full-time events manager, Erica Gibbons. So she's always here booking events. And the shoulder months, the fall, spring, that's really when we're, having our event season, essentially. So as our a la carte, walk-in customer kind of dips down, the events rise up, and it evens out pretty well for us. Really the tough months here, January, February. Once we get through there, March starts ticking up again. We have Parade Day, which is the biggest first parade here in the state in Belmar. So that day is always crazy. Kind of kicks us off, for the season a little bit. But fall, holiday time, we do pretty good.
Nice.
It's just those first couple months of the year, cold. Everybody after the holidays are kind of staying inside a little more. They spent all their money,
Yep.
so they're holding down a little bit. Dry January is a thing now; it's become popular. But Mike could speak on the sales a little bit. There's a difference there as well.
Yeah. So we, January, February, it's definitely a slower time for distribution, but we also just rolled it out this January. So, everything that we're going to do in the first year is going to be a learning curve. Which products are going to be, the right products at the right time. So, like I said, everything's a learning curve, but our head brewer, Jared, I work with him on a daily basis to see kind of what's doing well in the market and what's not. This way we know for next year of, coming out with a right plan of attack of which products work seasonally and, getting the right products to market is, we're going to find out.
Yeah.
Everything's a learning curve to start. So
what have been some of the biggest learning lessons so far?
Pricing, promotions, what works and what doesn't, and then as we go along, we start to realize, certain things that we need. So, once we start getting a little busier, we might need some extra teammates to help, kind of, manage the market a little bit and maybe help Jared and Ryan in the facility, with the canning line and stuff like that. So it's all good problems to have, but the stuff that you learn as you go on, it's cool to see everything kind of come together.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it's a learning curve. It's going to be cool to see everything roll out.
Yeah.
And once it's built, it's hopefully. We're going to be able to look back, like all the hiccups that we learned from, help us kind of grow and build a well-established business.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I think it's like you said, it's a learning curve, and I'm sure it's important to take the mindset of, not that you're going to come in and start managing distribution and sales are going to skyrocket in the first couple months.
Yeah.
It's a long haul and it takes time, and you have to go through.
Man.
It's a grind. Yeah. You got to go through, learn the lessons, figure out, where the bottlenecks are. Do you need more staff here? Do you need to expand into different markets or whatever it might be? And it's probably, you start reaping the reward from it on year 2 or year 3.
Yeah.
And that's when you really start hitting the ground running, but you got to put in the legwork first.
Yeah, no, you definitely, this role in particular, you definitely got to be able to take rejection because you get a lot of it.
Yeah.
If you go into, God knows how many accounts I've been into over the past 6 months, I'd say probably upwards of, 500, 600, 700 accounts maybe. And, we have almost 100 accounts now that are working with us. So, there's a lot of no's that come with that as well.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, you said 500 accounts, you got 100?
Yeah. Well,
Dude,
I'm just going off the top of my head, but yeah, we're almost at 100 accounts that have purchased our product this year.
That's a 20% close rate. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not well.
That's awesome. Crushing it.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully towards the end of the year, we'll create some more partnerships with the right clientele, and we'll see where it goes, man.
Yeah, it's got to keep grinding.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's what we're here for, though.
Yeah.
It's nothing's going to be easy when you start. So, I like a challenge, and this is definitely a challenging role to be a part of.
So here's a question for you, Dylan.
Yep.
How'd you know that Mike was the right guy for the role? How do you find a good distribution salesman?
So Mike had the experience.
Love to hear
you
this.
Know, that we wanted to see. Mike, he was in New Jersey market previously. He was selling a product called Long Drink. So he was here a couple years. So we knew he had that established relationships, like he was saying before. That's a big part of this business. It's not necessarily about the product. It's about knowing the buyer, knowing somebody that's going to give you a chance, put you on the shelf. So selling through New Jersey for those couple years and Long Drink was a big bonus that he had. And then selling in Manhattan in Pernod Ricard, he has to have that that mindset of going out and I'm going to be out there every day. I'm going to be meeting people. I'm going to be talking to people. If they tell me no, it's all right. I'm going to show up tomorrow and say, hey, buy my product. He's a true sales guy. Through and through. He's got the experience and just talking to him. I mean, he could talk your ear off and you turn away and he'll still talk to you and just like shut the hell up, but he'll keep going. That's what you want.
That's what you want.
Appreciate it.
It's all good stuff. He's a guy that just wants to get out there, make friends, sell the product, and he's a solid dude at the end of the day, and I think he's just a good asset to the team.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like sales is one of those things. I think it can be learned to a certain degree, but there are natural salespeople. Like,
absolutely. It's part of the personality.
It's a personality thing.
Yeah.
It's
you just got to enjoy talking to people.
Yeah.
And be able to take a lot of rejection.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
those
but,
two things.
It's you learn a lot from every time. Every no you get, you learn from it, and what you could do better. And but yeah, we're gonna get a lot of that this year.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a lot of it next year.
I have a business mentor that always tells me for every no, it just means that you're closer to the next yes. If you have a 10% close rate, you got to go through 9 no's.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
There you go. One of the things I wanted to ask you guys, so you have food here, which is this is a big debate in the brewery space right now. Like, should I offer food in the tap room or not? I'm a big believer in yes, you absolutely should, because I think it keeps people here longer and people tend to drink more beer. Average ticket value is higher. Did you guys have that intention when you started the place, or like how has how is having that in the mix?
We
helped?
didn't have that intention initially, just due to our location and space, the facility. We saw it as a necessity eventually, having the food, having the liquor license. But back to what you were initially saying on that, in New Jersey, a brewery cannot offer food. That's what I was saying earlier. When we purchased that liquor license in 2020, it gave us that ability. If you're just a limited brewery in this state, which 90+% of them are, you cannot have a restaurant. You cannot have spirits. The only thing you could do is serve the beer that you make. So they changed in that regulation to allow food trucks to come into their parking lots, and you could have somebody outside of the business sell to your customers, but they are not allowed to open a kitchen right now. They would have to purchase a liquor license to be able to do that. So that's why New Jersey is so different. And it provides challenges for breweries that a lot of states don't have. But for us, we saw the opportunity when a liquor license became available. In the summer, you have families walking in the door, and you say, "Hey guys, we don't have food. You could grab something from all the places around, and we just have beer here." And they say, "Okay, that sounds good." And then we watch them walk across the street.
Yeah.
Go somewhere where it's a one-stop shop, and they don't have to really worry about bringing in food and bringing all the pieces together. So it was kind of an avenue that we thought we needed, and we're very happy we did it because it allowed us to really expand on this place and get a lot more going here.
Yeah. I can imagine with this location, it's like I could see how it's a necessity.
Your main street in Belmar, blocks from the beach.
Yep.
This place is packed in the summer, and then the events, the amount of events we were doing, and we had to bring in outside catering and stuff like that to be able to do it all ourselves now. That was a really big bonus.
Yeah, I could totally see that. So did you guys have to, when you bought this place, was it the size that it is today, or did you have to knock down walls and continue to expand the building?
I mean, the building was totally raised on the inside essentially. When the building was purchased from Herb Friedman, the former Friedman's Bakery was here, and the one thing he wanted to see was the essential footprint, the outside of the building, to be the same. That was important to him, and a lot of people in the town and the area, had a close relationship with the bakery. He was here for 64 years. So we did the work to accommodate that and to keep a piece of history here. So it was a lot of work. We started in building was purchased 2013, all 2014, and we opened in 2015. But during that construction time, it was the whole inside, all the walls were taken down. There's a lot of like piecemealed additions that we had to just bring down and open it up. So that way, we got one big open space essentially.
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this. I went to St. Rose High School right across the street.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I graduated in 2013, so I was here when it was Friedman's, and we used to always go into Friedman's and like get coffee or whatever before school. And I remember what it looked like, and you guys did an awesome job by renovating it. I'm happy that it was Friedman's when I was underage, and now that I'm there you go, of age, it's a brewery. Like that's
when we moved in here, we said we just switched it to liquid bread. Just made the change from bakery to brewery.
You have a beer after that. It's a rye,
Herb's
right?
Rye. Yeah,
Herb's
we actually,
Rye.
that was a original beer that we did when we first moved here. We just did our 10-year anniversary a couple weeks ago, and we did a small test batch of that, to bring it back a little bit. So that was a wheat beer. It was really good. I enjoyed it, and people like that. We made that little tribute to Herb Friedman.
Mm-hmm. That's so funny. It went from real bread to liquid bread.
Right.
I love that. Wanted to ask you guys as well. What kinds of marketing do you guys do? I know you have Kyle who does the marketing.
Kyle,
here.
where's he at?
I think he's
running away.
He's texting
somewhere. Kyle doesn't want to get in. Kyle's our social media marketing guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's really the one behind the Instagram, the Facebook, all that. So he's doing a great job of always being on top. Answering people, getting social media posts up. He's here right now trying to get a little social content for us. So he's always doing the work and just put on a good show for us.
Mm-hmm.
We do some marketing through some different ads here and there, but nothing too crazy. Mike's trying to do some different promotional stuff with sales and some different just like some.
We do a lot of events, setting up a
like
booth,
and stuff like that.
Liquid to lips is some of the best marketing that we could have. So we do a lot of tastings in liquor stores. We probably do like 2 or 3 of those a week.
Nice.
But the best kind of asset for this is the space. So we're there to kind of share the beer with people, but also share what an amazing establishment that this is. So when you get a couple of people that walk into a liquor store, and we have these a little facility sign that says, look at our 30,000 square foot space. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
If you're ever down in Belmar, why don't you visit it? And people are like, I didn't even I drive past this all the time. I never actually been inside. But yeah, it's a great kind of tool to use when you get the liquid to lips, but you also have the space to share. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And we love doing those tastings because it's exposure for us. People love the beer. The beer is fantastic. Like I said, Jared and Ryan do a great job back there. If we could get some visitors out of the brewery, it's a win-win situation.
Yeah. I think one of the things that is cool about this is like, everybody makes good beer. I think you guys make great beer, but it's hard to differentiate on the beer in and of itself.
Right.
And one of the things that I think a really good taproom experience does is it gives the customer the ability to tell their friends a story about the brand, which is actually what differentiates you from other
absolutely
beer companies. So
these days, everybody makes good beer.
Yeah.
Everybody makes good beer.
Mm-hmm.
It's how can you sell it? That's the whole challenge.
Yeah.
There used to be, when I first started here, it was, over 10 years ago, it was all about waiting on lines, and you'd have people, bringing back cases from Vermont. They call them mules. You buy, 4 packs from them for like $25 and $30 and stuff like that. You don't really see that anymore because you could go down the street and every single brewery around here, for the most part, is making really solid beer.
Mm-hmm.
So you need somebody like Mike that could go out there and sell the story, sell the product. Because at the end of the day, any other brewery is going to be making a decent product. So you have to be able to outshine them. Show them why ours is worth the try, and keep a customer that way.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys do an awesome job with the brand, and just the experience of coming in the tap room. Like I hadn't even seen the upstairs until today. I just went downstairs last week.
Bought the 4-pack.
Yeah, and I was telling everybody on our team and some of my friends, I was like, man, I went to this brewery called Beach Haus Brewery in New Jersey, and like the tap room was awesome. And I hadn't even been up here yet, so now I have an even better story to tell them.
There's a virtual tour that we actually have on our website.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
Okay,
anybody
yeah.
could go on there. We had somebody come through, and he took this 360 camera, and he went to every single part of the place, including
You can
the,
like walk through it.
yeah, you
Even
can walk, you
even
can
the
walk
elevators. Yeah. You can literally take an elevator through the virtual.
Dude, you
Take it
gotta
up to
see
the
their
room.
elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too. But you could see the back, the brewery, how the 2-story brew house and the cellar, how that's laid out. You go up on the roof, you could see the view of Shark River, the whole tap room. So it's really cool to kind of click through that and see what we have going on here.
Yeah. I gotta come back here. It's raining today, but I gotta come back or it's cloudy. I want to come back and have the full rooftop experience.
Yeah, the sunset over the Shark River is awesome.
Yeah, it looks
people
amazing.
that come up there, like clockwork every day, just looking for that sunset, especially when you get a nice, orange red glow over the river. It's great.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, you guys definitely picked the right location.
Yeah, it worked out.
That's awesome. Well, last question for you. You've been in business for 10 years. Congrats, by the way,
Thank you.
both of you. What would you do differently if you were going back, 10 years ago? You're just opening Beach Haus Brewery. What advice would you give to yourself going back those 10 years?
When we first started, everything was a learning curve here. So there was a lot to figure out and just get our feet under us. I think we did a pretty good job getting the place up and running. The biggest boon I think we had was actually getting this liquor license and transforming into a brew pub rather than just a brewery. So the best thing we could have done was, come into this place initially with that goal, have it as a brew pub from the start. That would have really helped, just the earlier years kind of get running. Wasn't the plan at the time, which is obviously why we didn't do it. But that's really been the biggest change for this place. Is once we brought in that liquor license, everything else kind of grew and evolved with it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Every brewery owner that I talk to who started from a point where they were just selling beer, and then eventually transitioned to like a kitchen or a brew pub model, they never regret it. It's always, it was like the catalyst for a lot of growth for them. And the best way that I've heard that put was some guy said, a lot of breweries don't want to expand the model out and start offering like cocktails or food because they're like, I'm a brewery. I want people to just try my beer. And he was like, what I eventually realized was if I want more people to try my beer, I have to give them other things that they're interested in so they visit in the first place.
Yeah.
So that way they stay.
And when you come with a group, maybe not everybody's a beer drinker.
Right.
It might give you an option to bring people to a brewery if like, hey, my friends, they just want, a cocktail, they want a seltzer, they want, something totally different. They just want food. So when you have all those options, you're able to bring in groups that, you normally wouldn't get, which is, just a great way to, get more people in the door.
Yeah. And then, like you said, then they come in and they see the tap room and maybe they didn't even drink beer here, but they're going to tell people about the awesome tap room at least and the rooftop.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, man, this has been awesome. I appreciate you guys coming on. And final question, how can people visit you? How can they find out about Beach Haus? How can they learn more information?
Yeah, our website's just beachhausbeer.com. It is spelled Haus. That's like the German spelling. So that always, sometimes causes a little confusion. So yeah, beachhausbeer.com. Like I said, we have a virtual tour up there. You can check out the facility. A lot of information is up there. We're, right on the Jersey Shore here in Belmar, New Jersey. So either you're taking, Parkway, exit 98, gonna pop you out here, right off of 138, 195 straight down. Pretty easy to get here. We're right off the main highways. You pop right out into the beach, and we're here in the corner of 8th and Main. You can't miss us when you're coming into town. 8th Avenue's one of the main drags coming in, so everybody's passing us, every day going down to the beach. So yeah, if you're coming to the beach, come and check out the shore. Come check us out.
Nice. And Mike, can you quickly just list off all 100 accounts that they can find you guys at?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
Not off the top of my head, but one thing that I will say is it's really cool when you go all the way out to like West Jersey and whether it's at like a liquor store tasting and somebody was like, oh, I was just there 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, wow, like we're 2 hours from the place and, people actually will travel to be here, which is really cool to see. And also, like when it comes to how to find out about us, we were talking about Kyle before, and he does such a great job with the social media. I think we're almost at like 20,000 followers now, which is great to see for an establishment like this. So check us out on social media too.
Cool, awesome. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Congrats on all the success. Congrats on 10 years. And yeah, that's a wrap.
Thanks for having us, man.